So let's start with what he did right. All right, we're going to talk about a few things that are very important, and this primary point I want to make as point number one for what he did right. His overall quantity of poses that he chose was not that great. In other words, he didn't try to fit too many poses into his routine. All right, if you do the count, it's about 7, 8, 9 poses. That's all, and that's for the entire minute of posing. That's fantastic because it allows you to get into your poses and doesn't rush everything. Point number two of things that he did correct, he picked abstract poses that he clearly has practiced and feels his body looks best in. His pose choice itself was unique in that he made sure he wasn't just doing the mandatory poses, but he altered them and he tried creative ones that really help show his body. That's very important because the majority of people just go through the quarter turns and the mandatories with little to no variation. Now, the last and final point I want to stress about what he did right, or in my opinion good, was that he finished off with the most muscular pose. That's a great pose to finish off to if it is a strong pose for you, but it is not a good pose to go out there and throw in the beginning of the routine. All right, a lot of people end up forgetting that that's usually a very flattering and intense pose to hit, and a lot of times it works better when you work up to that pose. So the way he did it was great. He worked up to it, finished off with it, and that was that. Alright, now let's start talking about things that could have been done better or things that I feel he did incorrectly. We're going to start talking about his song choice first. As the first point I'd like to make, the song choice is very important. It sets the tone. It gives people an idea of what they're about to see. It creates the mood. His song choice may be a song that he enjoys. It might be something that's relevant to him. And maybe that's the only thing that matters. But at the end of the day, you're performing in front of a group of people. And these people need to be able to relate to it or enjoy it. This song choice doesn't go well with the posing, and therefore it takes away from the elegance that the posing routine has and creates a completely different feeling. Now let's take a look at this individual pose and break it down and see if we can make it better. We're going to take a look at the foot positioning here. Let's fix it. The foot that is furthest out, so on the left hand side of the screen, his right foot, if we could get that foot angled out even more so, close to a 180 degree straight line, we'll get more display of the quadricep. That would be ideal here. Now also, if he's able to come up on his left toes, so the ball of his foot, if he's able to come up onto the ball of his foot, he'll be able to drop down lower into the pose, and although it will require more flexibility and be harder, it will look better because he'll be lower to the ground and his upper body will inherently look bigger because of it. The last thing I would do is take this pose out altogether and replace it with something else, if anything. This pose is probably the weakest pose in the entire routine, and if it was taken out, it would do his body a lot more justice. The fact that that pose is in there and it doesn't look like it's been a very well orchestrated movement takes away from the overall appearance that his entire body gives. I feel like there's some good parts in this pose. I feel like there's a few strengths, and if he worked on it, he could make it better. But I also feel like you might want to just get rid of it and move on to the pose that followed it and create a better transition that way. So there it is, guys, a new episode of routine maintenance. I haven't done one in a while, and I had a special request to do so. So here it is. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope, more importantly, you're able to learn something from it.